Everybody to our second presentation. Let's open with a word of prayer. Holy God, we thank you that we can be guided and directed by your word. Help us to have faith and to have confidence in all that you have given to us and in what you expect us to do with these truths. Help us to live lives that are worthy of your name. And in our marriages, may we give you glory and honor. In Jesus' name. Amen. So in our first class, grounds for divorce. We have death and adultery that are given in scripture. And then I asked, after those two that have a tick and they have a solid line connecting them, do we, and I think I did say this, as a movement, not interested in what the world thinks. So movement, do we believe there are other grounds for divorce? And the first answer that I got, incompatibility, which I've paraphrased to mean agree. And at least where I come from in legal terms, it's called irreconcilable differences. And this might not be 100% accurate, but it's close enough. It's a close approximation. In America, at least, maybe other places, it's called a slightly different term. You know what that is? What kind of divorce is that? Debbie?
Divorce?
Nazýva sa to rozvod, ktorý nemá žiadnu chybu.
Right, so we'll write that down. Incompatible, don't agree. Or no fault. Which means you're not blaming the other person. For anything that they've done. Legally, you're just saying, we don't agree with each other and no one's to blame. There's no criminals. Both people are good, they just can't get along. So we discussed that. And I asked, there may have appeared to be trivial questions or jesting, but I was serious. How many times can you remarry? before you make a mockery of the institution. And if you think that you don't agree with your partner, how long does it take to work that out? And if you do decide to divorce, how long should you wait before you look for a new partner? And that's what's on the board now. It's just a summary of what Denisa and Solange had suggested. Then we had a discussion on what these things mean. These things, I'm referring to what incompatible means. What you don't agree with. So I think some members here felt that I was trivializing the whole issue. And that they were being serious. So when I asked for examples, we quickly gravitated away from don't agree to either control or outright abuse. And I don't think they either control or abuse fit into the category of no fault or don't agree or incompatible. So during the break, so she can tell me if I'm accurate in my reporting. Shemaine said that if you follow the Bible, this ground for divorce doesn't exist. There is no such thing as I divorce because we don't agree. It's not a biblical reason. So I hope that was accurate. Just put your thumbs up if it was. So that shouldn't come as a revelation, because if it was in the Bible, I would have put it in solid lines to begin with. Unless I didn't know about that. So the reason it's in dotted lines is because I'm asking yourselves, what reasons do you think we can get divorced over which are not biblical? So when I say biblical, either, so not biblical. There's only two biblical reasons: death and adultery. So not biblical. There are two reasons for it, or there may be more than two. So What would non-biblical mean to you? Can we add things that are not biblical? And if we can, why would they not biblical? So I'll give one. Because they're wrong. If it's not in the Bible, you shouldn't be doing it. It's wrong to do that. Another reason? Why can we add things today that weren't there in the past? So I'm saying one of the things it would be wrong to add whatever you want to add, even though it wasn't there. But there might be other reasons. Someone say something? Can't do that. Yes, they might.
Maybe traditions.
Explain.
Usually the people doing things because it is a long tradition in the family or of, I don't know, society.
So when you say tradition, who's doing the tradition? You in 2026 or the Bible, these Jews, when you say tradition? Who are you referring to?
Could you repeat your question?
You said because of tradition. Who's following the tradition? Were you talking about you? Or were you talking about people in the Bible when you said tradition?
I was thinking in the people in the world.
I want to be clear. I don't care about the world, and neither should you. If you've got, like some of us in the back of the room, one foot in the movement and one foot in the world, I quoted them, then that's their business. But we should be interested about serious people who are committed members. We're all friends here. So, Solange, in the movement, in the Bible, you don't tell me what the Philistines believed. Philistines. Why are you telling me what the worldly people believe?
That is not according to their faith.
You don't have to answer that. I'm saying don't do it. Israelites and us.
Both?
Don't talk about Philistines and don't talk about the world.
Okay. Maybe because we can say another reason is because they have a wrong information or comprehension of the information. Doesn't have a good information, but they don't understand well.
Who has the wrong information? You or Paul?
I don't know what is. I think maybe
You don't know.
I think I think what I mean is like we can have a good information from Paul, but I don't understand correctly because they are two contexts different.
We okay? You don't understand what Paul said?
Yep, could be.
So if you don't understand what Paul said, then what? You can make stuff up that are not in the Bible.
Yeah. So
Would that be a bad reason, wouldn't it?
can happen also, right?
So you're saying it's lack of education. So we're going to go outside the Bible rules because we're not educated on Bible rules.
It's not necessarily lack of education, but it's hard to understand.
So because you're dumb, you can't understand Paul, you're going to do something wrong.
Yeah.
Ignorance is not a good excuse.
It's not ignorance, it's a wrong comprehension.
Repeat what you said. It's a lack of comprehension. Why can't you comprehend? Why can you not comprehend? I said you're not educated or you're dumb. You said neither.
Can talk about, for example, this topic, marriage. For Paul, have one meaning, and for us, it's still in the air. We are learning now. It's
You're learning. So you're not fully educated.
Yeah.
That's what I said a minute ago. You haven't answered my question. I'm asking, can we change what's not in the Bible? And if we change something, you're doing something wrong. So I've put wrong. You can give me a positive reason why you can change the Bible. The Bible rules. You're going to give me a positive reason, Esther? So you're going to give me a positive reason why you can go outside of the Bible rules.
According to Daniel, we see that the knowledge increases at the end of the world. We prophetically, we get an increase of knowledge, also on the rules. The rules which are not in the Bible. And in the end times, we come to the knowledge that human rights are important and they're a test. The knowledge also increases how we are to treat one another.
So you have a better understanding of the golden rule than Paul did. I can't translate, I can repeat. So you have a better understanding of the golden rule than Paul did. You know what the golden rule is? Yeah. So we know what the golden rule is. I said you have a better understanding of that than Paul did.
More in the detail.
So you know how to treat people better than Paul knew how to treat people.
No.
So the belief, yes.
Belief, what do you mean when it comes to belief?
When it comes to matters like marriage,
So if you were married and Paul was married, you'd know how to treat your partner better than Paul knew how to treat his partner. You said you know how to treat your husband better than Paul would know how to treat his wife.
you need to repeat.
Yes, I would say, because the rules changed. We are equal. In Paul's time, we were not equal.
I'm pretty sure Paul says that we are. Paul said that we are equal. You didn't know that?
No, I thought not in the marriage, because the wife had to wear a scarf around the head.
Paul didn't tell them to put scarves around their neck.
Who said this?
I'm going to go with Moses, isn't it? Paul.
Paul. When we was in the Versammlung, in the congregation, the women had to be quiet and to wear a scarf.
Oh, you're referring to all of that. You're saying Paul said, what about that? That we should continue that custom.
This is written in the Bible.
I asked you, did Paul say we need to continue that custom?
Maybe.
Is that because he thought it was a really good custom? Or because he thought in that world, in that situation, that's not something worth fighting about?
It was for him it was for him a good tradition to do this. For him was a good tradition in this time.
You don't understand her, or you're looking at me? I don't agree with you. I don't read it that way. I don't think he thinks it's a good tradition. I think he understands about men and women's rights. But like you and many other people, he's a pragmatist. He's not a radical person. Like you're not a radical person. He's a feminist and you're a feminist, but you're not radical. Because you follow the customs of your generation. You don't rebel against them. And neither did he. It seemed to me that you're about the same. Could be wrong. Any other reasons? Monica?
The circumstances in the society changed.
Zmenili sa okolnosti.
Isn't that just what Esther said?
Some things in the past could not be done because it wouldn't be possible within that framework.
Niektoré veci v minulosti
You didn't need to rephrase it for me. I understood what you said. I just asked you, isn't that what Esther said? It doesn't work that way.
I wasn't sure what she said, what she meant.
nebola som si istá, čo má na mysli.
That's dangerous. You're translating, you don't know what they're talking about. She said the same thing. So what do I put here? You can speak for Esther. So you're breaking the rules. You can't do that. So Monica wanted me to put change of society. Debbie.
I just wanted to clarify your question. You're wanting to asking us for any other reasons that would be not biblical. Biblical title is for what? For
Nie sú to biblické dôvody.
You and I are good if the translator don't understand what you're saying. That's what I'm waiting for. So I said grounds for divorce. I gave 2 examples from the Bible. And then I said the end. Anything after that, unless someone tells me otherwise, I might have missed it. There are no other reasons in the Bible given. Everything after that, you have to make up a reason. So I began by asking, tell me another reason to get divorced. And then people said, we don't agree. We're not compatible. That's reasons to get divorced. I said, okay. We had a little discussion about that. I asked for some examples. I think we ended up really not getting anywhere or not even agreeing. The reasons I gave seemed trivial to people. And the reasons others gave to me seemed not to fit into the category of incompatible. There was a different category. So a different category would be this. I didn't ask for that one yet. So let's deal with one at a time. So then I said, let's forget all of that. Second class, let's ask a slightly different but related question. We're now into a non-biblical, extra-biblical scenario. We're in the dotted line. Everybody agrees with that. How can you change things? What's your reasons? So I said, to get the ball rolling, you're outside the Bible, and now you want to say, we can get divorced for this reason. You won't cook my food for me. No. When we were courting, I asked you if you're a good cook. You said yes. So I tested you out, came to your house for a meal. It was wonderful. So I married you. And it ended up being Uber Eats. I marry you and I realize you can't cook. We're incompatible. So I'm saying we're going to divorce now. So that would be an example. We could all have a discussion. And our answer would be, that's wrong. It's not a reason for divorce. So now we'll come up with a different example. I don't want to define it like I just did now with the wrong. Now I want you to give me a reason why divorce would be legitimate. That's not a biblical reason. So there's not a reason given in the Bible. Tell me how we can create new law, new rules. So I'm looking for a nice little phrase here, a word. Does that help, Debbie? Sarah.
Finance, like money.
Finance or money?
Yeah.
Finance or money?
You have like disagreement over that.
Disagreements.
Disagreement over financial issues.
You're a doctor, well paid. I lose my job, and I'm saying, come on, pay all the bills. We're now incompatible and we can get divorced. So you can marry another doctor instead. And
If you put it that way, no, but
so when I put it that way, everybody trivializes what I say. Give me a real serious one, then this thing.
mm, I don't know. I just, someone told me that money is a big issue.
Who said that? I'll give another example then. I tell you, I'm a really decent human being, hardworking. Like you. We get married. And you find out I'm a gambler. Is that grounds for divorce?
Depends how bad it is.
So your money's your money, my money's my money. I gamble all my money away, not yours. And you're left picking up the bills. Grounds for divorce?
If it continues that way, then yes.
5 years.
10 years.
10 years. I'm going to marry you. 10 years. Got 10 years to take all your money. Good. So this was, before we move on, this was Monica's. So, if you didn't catch it, their answer was dispensational. When you move to another dispensation, sometimes things change. Because we know the Bible is a book of examples, not principles. So you have to be careful how you deal with principles and examples. So all of the ideas and suggestions that Esther gave, I think you'll read into that there have been some dispensational changes. And that gives you license to essentially add law. We're not taking away law, we're adding law. And so what I'm asking is, we're in a different dispensation, we know that. In this dispensation, can we add law on the subject of divorce? So that's the first question. Can we do that? And if you're going to say yes, then I'm saying, what are the terms conditions the rules. So because we're supposed to be cleverer than Paul, we understand the law better than Paul. We have a broader view of it. So if you're going to say incompatibility, when I say explain that, what I'm asking for is some law, some rule that you can come and say, I'm getting divorced because my partner broke the rule. So everybody needs to know what the rule is that's being broken. The issue is we don't agree. What crime has your partner committed? Because when I gave examples, people laughed at them. So now I'm asking, tell me the rule, the law that has either been added or changed. So I'll say added, changed, or what? You add law, you change law, or it's not taking away laws. There's only two laws: sex and death. We're not taking sex away. Hopefully we wouldn't take death away. That'd be a bit creepy. Sleeping with your mummy, not your literal mummy. Okay, so we leave that. So it can't be taken away. Add, change. Enlarge. Increase of knowledge on an existing law. So this is law, and this becomes dispensational. This is a dispensational issue. We're expanding on that. It can't be in the New Testament unless Paul was really not doing his job. Because that would mean he forgot to do things. Or he was a bad man. And he was prejudiced, therefore he was teaching error. And if none of you believe that, which I don't think you do, then in the New Testament, Paul is giving you all the correct, accurate information that exists. If you're going to give a different reason for divorce, you need extra law. You either add, so it would be law number what? Law number 3. Death, adultery, and now number 3. I've put changed. We could say there's been a change in the law. Or we say that those two laws, on the surface, it's sex and death. But if you take the deeper meaning or the principle, then you can get an increase of knowledge on either one of those two laws. And now your third reason for divorce can fit into them. We're all on the same page now. Tell me how don't agree works. What's the law? The rules. Don't be shy. Radka.
Paul, and actually we do have a different law. That's what you're speaking about lately. The same. Oh, the same. But when we are in different dispensation, we understand that human rights, lidská práva, in which you include abuse. That's a legitimate reason for divorce.
That's nice. But we're not on the question mark. We're on the don't agree. Tell me what human rights are being violated. So your argument is, we'll call it the law of human rights. I'm okay to use that. Tell me what, if you don't agree with your partner, where human rights are being violated.
I understand that you're coming to the golden rule. When we should treat each other nicely. But what if my husband hits me?
You want to answer that? If your husband hits you, we're on the question mark. We're not in the... It says no fault. If your husband hits you, we're not on that reason. It's another one. So twice you've given the example of abuse. So you said about I can't remember what you said. Carry on, or someone can carry on. You said something about human rights or respect. Can anybody remember what she said? Anybody remember the exact phrase? So it says, don't agree. And people have said that's grounds for divorce. So Sarah doesn't have to answer this, but this is Sarah's given several examples, and so is Denisa. So we're not married yet. We're in the church. We're members. And now, I won't pick on Sarah. Denisa and I don't agree. We're not in agreement, Denisa. So I'm going to use marital terms, but obviously we're not married. So read this metaphorically. You and I don't agree. So we should divorce. What does divorce look like as two members in the church? First, tell me in your thinking what divorce looks like in the church between members. Obviously, I'm using divorce metaphorically. Understand? Tell me your answer just for the divorce bit, not the whole question. You and me, we're two members in this movement. We don't agree. So we leave that for the moment. You and I, what would divorce look like? Two members in this movement. If I said, Denisa and I are divorced now, what would that mean?
So first, we should come to some agreement about the separation. It could be maybe because of the reason of a lot of different opinions.
I'm not asking the reasons. I'm asking you what divorce would look like.
We should definitely discuss this with someone experienced.
All your answers are how to fix the problem. I'm saying you and I are now divorced. What does that mean?
We don't live together and we go separate ways.
We don't live together. And we go our separate ways. So if I come to a camp meeting, would you come to the camp meeting? If it was yes, we wouldn't be divorced. We'd be together. We might, our marriage might be in tension because you don't like me, because we don't agree. But if you come to the same camp and sit at the table, we're together still. We're not really.
I can't stop you from coming to the camp meeting.
To stop yourself.
But I want to be there.
If you're going to be there, I'm not coming. Because we're divorced.
That's your decision. That's your thing.
Isn't that what divorce means? Last time
No.
I heard, if two people get divorced, they don't live in the same house anymore. Don't go eating together anymore. Did you go with her and explain what someone explained to her? Maybe Madka can explain. Okay. Does everybody else understand? You don't understand what I'm saying either. Okay, I'm going to go with Magda. She doesn't understand. Magda, we're two members in the church and we don't agree with each other. Leave that to one side. If I take the symbol or the meaning of divorce, what does it mean when two members divorce?
Separation.
Tell me what that would look like with respect to being in the church, in this movement or in the church. Same thing. In this movement, what would separation look like? You and me are separated because we don't agree. Tell me what real life looks like now.
We maybe will ignore a bit each other if we are at the same place.
We ignore one another. So if we come together, we ignore each other, pretend they don't exist. Is that what you said? If you've ever got divorced, when you sign the document, I don't know if you know what it says. It says, from this day, that person you called your partner is now as though they were dead. It says that. So one example of divorce would you walk at the same camp and you ignore each other like they don't exist. We agree with that? Can you give another one? If you can't, it's fine. Stronger one. Ignoring each other on the stairways isn't much. Debbie, did you want to give one? You had your hand up before.
No, I don't have an example of that right
Do you
now.
want to say something else? Okay,
moment.
so I'll give one. Oh, Solange, want to give one? Mag just said I meet her on the stairs and she's just going to turn the other way and pretend I don't exist. And all that's because we don't agree. In the context of movement, we don't agree on some doctrine or something, I guess.
So I think the reality is that when there is a divorce in the movement, one of the person leaves the movement. And if they can state,
If they stayed,
they are going to feel both in certain way uncomfortable, even if they try to hidden.
okay. So we've got ignoring the person on the stairs. You leave the movement, or the one that I gave. If you're going to the camp, I'm not going. If you're online that Sabbath, I'm not turning up. That's what divorce would look like. And based upon all your understanding of the law, whatever law you want to invent or think about, is that the correct behavior? If you don't agree with somebody, they didn't swear at you, they're not abusive, they just don't agree. Is that grounds for leaving the movement? Is that grounds for not sitting with them in the meeting room? Not going to church on the Sabbath? Ignoring them on the stairs? So online, all the people who are responding are just saying no. So according to the laws that you understand, no one's agreeing to this, that you can divorce on this ground of not agreeing. The worst we would say is you need to agree to disagree and stay married. You both participate in the movement. So this argument looks pretty weak to me. Now, I know that someone says there's things that are subtle. And the subtleness that they were speaking of is incompatibility can subtly turn into abuse. But I want to say abuse is abuse and don't agree is don't agree. Someone said this. Tell me what you think about this argument. Compare and contrast. So if you want to talk about the end, you compare that to the beginning. The end of what? Marriage. The beginning of marriage. So if you want to know the grounds for the end, what are the grounds for the beginning? Have I just given a reasonable argument why this is bad? What do you think of this one? Compare and contrast. You're supposed to marry people that you are compatible, that you agree with. Compare and contrast. You can divorce if you're not compatible and if you don't agree. Did you get their argument? That would be incompatible and don't agree. Who agrees with this little snazzy model? No, just the principle of compare and contrast. That's the title of the methodology. Does it sound reasonable? Logical, I mean. What's the fallacy in the logic then? They're listening online. Tell them why they were wrong, Debbie. Someone, Debbie needs a mic. Who's doing that?
Well, compare and contrast, the beginning and the end are to be the same. So the end should have compatible agree as well. And what that model basically shows is the X that you put beside incompatible, don't agree.
Inými slovami,
The two reasons in the Bible for divorce existed at the beginning, exist at the end. Divorce.
Anyone else? Thank you, Debbie. Anyone else disagree with that? Because I've given what I thought was a reasonable argument why this doesn't work, incompatible. I did it through the example of church membership. And someone used a different idea and come up with a different answer. Who wants to speak? No one? No?
I just want to say that I disagree with it as well, like this.
Oh.
Tamina, what are you confused about?
This example, is it agreeing with what you just said
No.
or not? It's not.
No.
Okay.
This doesn't agree with what I said.
For me, this looks like someone had an agenda and just needed a proof.
You have an agenda. Wherever cameras are on. They're very nice people. They don't do agendas.
We all have agendas, so no criticism.
They're listening.
Like we're trying to because we all want to get divorced because we don't like our partner. Impression that we're just finding something which confirms our preference. Whoever's argument that was.
Yes, Gloria.
So when we use the beginning and the end model, we use the which is the beginning is the same as the end. The opposite would be view of there's no change. Analogy would be Eden to Eden, beginning is the same as the end.
Anyone else?
Just if you put in that way in the whiteboard, if you change the positions of these sentences, remember me the idea that usually are in the word about the romantic relationship that start bad, but is with the time it's get better. And that is like an illusion to see that way.
She said most relationships start off bad, but they end up being good. Everyone else needs to understand. We're on lap 2. So that you know. Sorry about that. Don't let that distract you, please. Carry on. She's done? Are we all the wiser? Okay, we're all Laodicean. We'll put this in parentheses for the moment. Sorry about that. I did try. Are we okay with this so far? We haven't come up with any good reasons for incompatibility. Monica.
And related to both what Radka and Denisa said. Mentioned human rights. Right.
Yeah. And now continue again. Yeah.
And it would be the pursuit of happiness. Question in with the incompatibility. compatible. They can't find happiness. So this is the question I have to that bit.
So what Monica's argument is, she says life, liberty, and happiness. If you're not happy in your marriage because you don't agree, you can get divorced. It's all legal. That's what she said. And I said, put up with a whole heap of bad behavior. Disagreements. So which one's correct? So Monica, when you're around, my life isn't very happy. What am I supposed to do? According to what you just said. You don't make me happy. Sorry? We're both members. We're not married yet, no. We're members. And you don't make me happy. What am I supposed to do? Just, you're not going to translate anything? The one that told me off. I need to translate her. Yeah, I'll translate you. Unbelievable. You don't make me happy. So I don't want to be around you. You said that's legitimate. Did you not? So I don't want to come to any camp meetings that you're at. Sorry? You're not translating. Come on.
I see we will get to the same place as what you said before.
So now we have two arguments. You begin marriage with compatibility. Marriage comes to life through compatibility. I assume you all agree with that. So when you kill marriage, why wouldn't that be because of incompatibility? That's argument one. And now Monica says, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness Disagreements make you unhappy. Divorce. Did you want to comment anything? Okay, so Monica didn't want to say anything. Anybody want to comment? I feel we still haven't come to a consensus yet. There seem to be lingering ideas. If we don't agree, we can separate. Most of us are saying, not in the church we can't, but in marriage we can. So I'm not sure the difference between the two. One's the world reality. And what's the other one she made? Okay, I think we've run out of time, actually. So we've run out of time. I want to summarize 2 presentations. We did a review of Brazil. And then we looked at grounds for divorce. I asked for some new grounds. People said incompatibility. We just don't have the same interests anymore. We don't agree on things anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. And no one's doing anything particularly wrong. There's no abuse. Which is why it's called no fault. And I'm asking, is this a legitimate reason for divorce? Let's add another thought. The way I've described all of this, are you okay with this summary or definition of number 3? You're getting divorced over, and then I'm going to write the thing. It's not serious. Is it okay to get divorced over things that are not serious? Sarah said yes. Denise said yes. You can get divorced over non-serious things. I said, okay. Then I said, when it comes to the church, 2 members, can they separate over non-serious things? And even Sarah said no. And most of the other people here said no. Then an online member said, if you create marriage through compatibility with no agenda, they think theologically, logically, you end it with incompatibility. And then Monica said, if it doesn't make you happy, don't do it. So we're coming to an end. And I want to just add one more piece of information. Can we? Oh, you can't see it here. Can we see it where it says no fault? What country is that? Okay, so it's not the only country, but I said USA. And that becomes significant because in the glorious land today, which means this dispensation, the one we're speaking about, people in power, we'll just call it the King of the North. In the glorious land, today, not yesterday, today, the King of the North is saying what? Who's kept up with current affairs? What's the King of the North saying today? Just put your hand up if you know an answer or their answer, or you have an opinion. This is not your opinion. This is what you've read in the newspapers. I don't want your opinion. I want what you've read. Debbie, what's the King of the North saying today?
Divorce and remarry, and remarry, and re.
What's that mean, Shemaine? Okay, so Debbie said in the newspapers today, the King of the North says you can marry and divorce, marry and divorce. Put your hands up if you agree with Debbie's newspaper that she read. Put your hands up if you disagree. One person supported you, Debbie, but the others didn't. So all those other people are saying the King of the North says what today? Is the You need a serious reason. We'll go with that. How many serious reasons are there to divorce? 2. They say that no fault divorce is, I'll just put it bad. Gloria said illegal. Do you remember that? If you don't remember it, you haven't been reading the newspapers. Because the King of the North isn't saying you can marry and remarry. They say marriage is for life with one person only. And no fault divorce is bad. So what can we put here? A big cross. That means I'm just the coordinator. You are in agreement right here with the King of the North. So we agree with the seventh, or you agree with the Seventh Kingdom's ideology on the matter of divorce. Let's pray. Holy God, help each of us to understand clearly the issue of separation and divorce. May we have a clearer understanding of the terms, conditions and legality of divorce. Holy God, we can only do that through a clear understanding of the law. The correct use of methodology. As we, as a small group in the movement, have come up with different thoughts and ideas, you have shown us through the external prophets, those journalists who trace the steady events of prophecy, the King of the North says that divorce, because of incompatibility, is not valid. Help us to understand if we should agree or disagree with the seventh kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.